What did inspire you to write this novel?
Well, two things really. One is that I've always had an interest in the home front, which was what happened in this country during the war. And I read a book about it when I was 14 and I've been obsessed ever since. And also, I worked in television for quite a long time, and when I became a writer, I felt I wanted to write about this ridiculous world behind the camera where people are obsessed with trivial things, and it takes 12 people to decide on the colour of a leading man's tie. And I thought about combining the two. Was it exactly the same when there were actually bombs dropping outside the studio? And I did some research and found, yes, all the egos, all the rivalries, all the difficulties, it was all exactly the same. And so it combined both a passion of mine and something that I know about. Yeah.
And how was your collaboration with
Well, I had very little to do with the film. I mean, I saw it went along, they were very good about giving me the scripts, and I met Sloane a couple of times, but basically they got on with it, and I am delighted with the result.
Did the film meet your expectations?
Yes, and beyond, I think, because you're very afraid. I do love my book. You know, it took me a long time to write, and so it's like offering up your baby for somebody to photograph. But I thought they did a fantastic job. I love it. Yeah.
How good was Gemma Arterton as a leading lady?
Gemma Arterton. Oh, she's fabulous. Oh, she's both beautiful and touching, and also the character has a real growth throughout the film. And I thought she did absolutely beautifully. The character at the end is nothing like the character at the beginning, and we all know films are shot out of order, and she somehow managed to give that lovely trajectory. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
Could you give a shout out to 360 Magazine, please?
360 Magazine. What's a shout out?
Just say hi.
Hi.
Thank you very much.
Teenage daughters with me, they know.
Yeah. Thanks to meet you. How was the adaptation of the book in this film?
Difficult, but very, very rewarding, because it's such a lovely book, and it's such lovely material to work with.
What was it that appealed to you in the book?
I really loved the story, but the thing that I think made me really love the book was the humour. Lissa Evans, the writer, has got an incredibly acute observational ability to kind of pinpoint things, particularly people's vanities, but she's never sneering, and she's never cold, and she's never superior, and I really loved that kind of the combination of the intelligence and the humour, but it's not it's not sneering.
Now you've seen it on screen, what did you think?
I really like it. It's really strange. The first time I saw it, it was like a film that somebody else had written, and I just watched it as an audience member, and I thought I was very happy.
What about Gemma's performance?
Oh, she's so gorgeous. She's so brilliant in it. Yeah, I can't really say any more than that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you feel that there are enough films that portray women as heroes nowadays?
You'd always like to see more, but you'd like to see more films. It's especially coming from Europe. I could easily double the amount of films of good films that I see. But I have seen fantastic films about. It's not so much about whether they're about men or women. It's more about what values they give and what stories they tell and what the artistic level is.
How would you encourage women to make more films?
This film is about a young girl who becomes a scriptwriter and who finds her feet in the film industry, and I hope it can inspire more people to become scriptwriters, because it's the scripts we need. It's all directors are looking for great scripts, and this was one of them, so I immediately wanted to see if I could get this job, and I got it. So it's such a dramatic world. It's a world where things constantly change, as London did at that time, where films have never been more important and where they made a big difference. And it's great characters, and then there's just a lot of humor, which I really enjoy when it's yeah. I know. I think it's because you have that kind of script that you can attract a cast of this level, that they can see that these are great characters, that they get to do something that is witty and do something, scenes that are moving within seconds, and that change really works well in England, and we know from the Toronto premiere that it also travels, so that's really good.
Okay.
Thank you.
First, I would like to ask you, how would you describe your character in this film?
Oh, I play a sort of very dry old crusty fart of a character who is the head of the Ministry of Information, who makes propaganda films in the Second World War that are supposed to be anti-Nazi, and so he has a very dry sense of humour, but he's a bureaucrat and a bore, so perfect casting.
Richard, what was it that attracted you to this film?
Lona Scherfig and the cast, Gemma Arterton, Sam Claflin and Bill Nye, who is hilarious to work with. It's the best stories of any actor you could wish for, so very, very enjoyable job to do. So I hope the film is good. Oh, people laughing so much, yeah, making it. So, and I knew a lot of the actors beforehand, so that camaraderie that you have is what the spirit of the making of the story was. That people in the middle of the war, where they had no budget, and they were up against all the odds trying to make these films and trying to get anything that they could together, which in many ways has summed up the cottage nature of British film industry outside of Bond and the Harry Potter franchises, that everything is kick bollocks scrambled to get the budgets together to make films. So that ethos is absolutely embedded in this film, except it's set the Second World War.
And when you, I guess, making that film,
Yeah, it's like being here. Yeah. No, I think the making of it, I very often think that some films, the making of them is more interesting than the actual films, and this is what that film deals with. So I hope it's really funny. Anyway, thanks very much.